all hunters, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. In today's video, I'm actually going over my updated Moze build. I recently posted a video maybe 2 to 3 days ago, and now they just have another updated patch. And I kinda got to play with a lot more of the skill points and just see what I personally think was best with this build. Jumping into the Demolition Woman, we're going to be putting 5 points into Fire in the Skag Den. When you deal splash damage, you deal bonus incendiary damage, so this really helps if you have like a shredded laser exploder, assault rifle, or a flacker. Moving down the tree, obviously we want 3 points into Means of Destruction. This is the perk that's going to give us our grenades back constantly. Really nice, and hopefully they don't touch it for a while. 5 points in Torque Cross promotion. This ability is nice. It's a 50-50 ability, mostly because if you're running a flacker and you shoot it, it might kill you, but not with Moze, because with Moze you're just going to have especially with this build, I've gotten up to like 150 shield, and you know, with my shield I lose 50% because of the amp damage, and I instantly get it back, so I can just keep spamming it. I never really found myself downing myself with the flacker, but I can kind of see a lot more other characters doing it, so just take that with a grain of salt, guys. But overall, it's a really nice perk to have. Moving down from there, you want to put 3 points into Pull the Holy Pin, just to give yourself the extra critical hit damage chance, or not critical hit damage, I'm sorry, critical hit chance with your grenades. This honestly does not affect critical hit damage. It says it does, but I don't know why they don't already take the wording out with some small hot patch that they do, but I'm stuttering a lot, my bad. And then put 5 points in Vampire. Now I see a lot of people are trying to like take points out of it, but with this build, I need it because I'm running the rerouter shield for the extra amp damage, and that's where a lot of it's going to come into play with this ability in short fuse. Recently, I was using a Yuta against Grave Ward. I crit hit him for like 275 and saw a small grenade explosion go off for about, God, I don't, like 125 roughly. I don't know the exact number. It was less than the actual damage marker, but overall it was really cool to see that proc. It's not constant, but you can definitely notice a huge difference in your DPS with this ability. But we're not going to talk about that right now. So moving down in the tree, I honestly just needed to get to short fuse, so I just put a couple points. I think I actually put one more point into Torque Cross promotion. I put 3 points into Why Can't I Carry All These Grenades. Just because depending on the boss you are fighting, it's kind of nice to have a couple more grenades to throw, especially like against Grave Ward and Tyrene. They're the bosses that come to mind because I see that the Hex Grenade really doesn't work against them, but the Firestorm Grenade works amazing against them, especially when you throw like maybe 2 or 3 grenades out, all the firestorms rain down, and you can probably shoot your gun 5 to 10 times depending on how fast your shield's actually reloading and the capacity at the time. If you're killing mobs or whatever, obviously it's going to be increased with this build, and I'll get to that later, but it's just an overall really nice perk to have. And then to the last, this just makes it so you can throw grenades while in Fight for Your Life. Honestly, with this build, the only time I ever go down is when one of the anointed sorcerers, I want to call them sorcerers, send out the big purple ball that explodes. I mean, I don't care how much health you have or how much shield and health you have. I've had a time where I had over 200k shield and that thing still exploded and killed me. And I also a time where, you know, I have 100k. So I don't know. It's definitely, I personally think it's an instant kill, death ball in my opinion. But if you guys want to like test it out, check it out. I'm not shitting you. Like, there's no way of surviving it if it actually sneaks up and kills you. But for the most part, I don't ever find myself going down unless it's from the death ball. And then last point into this tree is short fuse. Whenever Moze deals gun damage, there is a chance of a secondary explosion centered on the target. Now, if you're shooting mobs with the crossroads shoots technically 8 shots out. So if your RNG is good, okay, you should be getting like 2 secondary explosions. And if your RNG is really good, you're going to be getting a lot more explosions. I've had that case where I was kind of testing out with Grave Ward and my Radiation Lyuda, and I mean, I can't say I just completely melted them. And the damage modifier was actually like minus sniper rifle damage, so it was a pretty significant damage reduction to my character, but it really didn't stop this build. But and I'm not going to show you guys like a I'm not going to show you guys like a boss fight. God, mostly because, I mean, yeah, if you go in with the Deathless Artifact to give you a shit ton of, elemental damage or whatever, like, yeah, any character can do that and run it and do this. This is a base build. I had no extra effects like that other than, like, my rerouter shield that, honestly, I think this character is the only character that can run it. I was thinking Zane could with his barrier, but sadly the effect didn't work as I was expecting it to. Moving over to the shield retribution tree, we actually put 5 points into armored infantry just for extra gun damage and damage reduction. Always nice to have. 4 points into Vladoff and ingenuity, mostly because, and I'll show you later down the road there why. I mean, it's good to have that shock damage resistance, but I mean, you're only getting 5% of that after last point 6% for that. I mean, you can't put 5 points in here and take a point out from here. Whatever you guys prefer, this is just how I do it. Thin red line just to convert all my health into shield. Really nice perk to have. And then drowning in brass just to give yourself an extra 60% gun damage when you kill 3 enemies. Reduce your fire rate by like 7.5%, but it's really not noticeable. But the gun damage honestly makes up for it. And then moving down, we got 3 points into Desperate Measures, which I think actually gives you a 50% gun damage if you guys don't have a good class mod or don't have the right class mod. I kind of want one that gives 4 points into here and like 1 point into here, 2 points into here, and 3 points into here instead of 2. So I'm still working on that, but still a really nice overall perk to have. And if you're leveling up the character, anything that adds like +1 or +2 into this when you're leveling up, put it on, even if it's, common, uncommon, whatever. Put it on. It will help you get through the story as well. And then Phalanx Doctrine, I actually put 2 points into here, which it puts me at 4%, but my class mod actually gives, I think, 2% or 2 points, so yeah, it gives 2 points. So every kill I get 8% gun damage and 12% max shield. Helps with survivability and just helps you DPS enemies down a lot faster if you're trying to get through like a trial or something. I mean, I've had this thing up to maybe like 15 stacks. I'm just gonna say, because I don't really want to do quick math with 15 times 8, but I mean just 10 stacks alone is 80% gun damage and over like 120% max shield. So this is just a really nice perk to have. Just explaining why this is set up like this. Like, most people actually don't go into the blue tree and kind of don't keep going down the line as far as this. Even in my other build, I went into Cloud of Lead and Stoke of Embers. It does help. Oh, and also I think it's experimental munitions. It does help, but I wanted to focus on this build more to not just running incendiary damage. This build will work against armored, shields, and obviously health if you're running fire. But honestly, I think armor is basically the most bear to get through and has probably the most health durability to an enemy. So yeah, that's kind of why I kind of went into short fuse instead of the green tree. Don't get me wrong, the green tree is still really nice to get these points instead of short fuse, but honestly, I kind of just like it, especially when my RNG is really nice with the crossroads. I just keep seeing all those white numbers, like 2K, 4K. Like, it honestly is really nice to have. And if you're kind of looking at it the way I do, it isn't RNG, but you do 75% extra gun damage. This will just make it so if you go into these trees, we'll just do 50% increase incendiary damage. But that's not talking about corrosive or cryo or even electricity at that point. So that's kind of why I just went into here. So I'm doing increased damage to just about everything. And I'm gonna, before I jump into the inventory, I'll just go take a quick minute and let you guys copy it. And as I'm letting you guys copy it, or just pause the video, the Iron Bear sucks with Moze. Like, I wouldn't even put a point into Auto Bear. It honestly is not worth it to go into Iron Bear and just jump out. Like, her anointeds, I think, need to be fixed. Or I think Iron Bear just needs to be something that you summon. Like, Auto Bear just needs to be its actual action skill. It should not be a perk that you get later on. I don't even care, like, if they make it that way. And it's only 15 seconds. Okay, so then I have Iron Bear that shoots out nuclear radiation missiles, which would be amazing, but I mean, it's really not needed to focus on Iron Bear whatsoever. Even if you're just trying to waste a point, don't even waste a point on Iron Bear. It's not worth it. But if you do, just for people that are starting off, and if you're a new game, I mostly just run Vanquisher Rock Pad and hammer down Protocol. But I mean, even playing Moze, I mean, yeah, it was my second character at the time, and I honestly never went into Iron Bear. I mostly just went down this red tree, unlocked all the perks, and then quickly went over to my blue. But I mean, in all honesty, it's up to you guys however you want to do it. Some things will benefit you other times, like the blue tree. It only works if you have like a high-end DPS grenade, like a Hex or Firestorm, whereas the red tree will always work for you whatever content you're going through at the time. So definitely start off going down in the red tree. But let me just scroll over to, yeah, I was actually on the red tree. Sorry about that. Just if you guys want to copy that down real quick or pause the video, just look at it. Now jumping into my inventory, this is honestly why I don't say, oh, I'll fight a boss to show you guys. Well, sometimes honestly I don't do damage if I'm not running, like if I don't have the increased elemental damage or whatever, mostly because of the modifiers. I honestly don't care for the mayhem modifiers because it's honestly I feel like I'm lying to you guys when my previous videos saying, oh, this flak build is amazing because I can do this to Grave Ward. Well, yeah, it is kind of cool, and like my flak build actually can kind of do that to Grave Ward with whatever modifier it has. But for the most part, guys, it's whatever modifiers are on right now that are going to make your character good. When you go through slaughterhouses and trials, it don't matter with Moze, but with bosses, it does. Because you're not flak that can go and fade away and just crit the boss over and over again. Sorry, that's not how it works. But I will say that when I do run through the slaughterhouse, or I'm sorry, when I do fight bosses, obviously the Lyute is good, any crossroads good, Lucian's Call is good, the Butcher's good. Like, there's a lot of good guns out there. There's a blue torch shotgun that pretty much any character can use that can just demolish Grave Ward with the sticky bomb. So, I mean, just take that with a grain of salt, guys. Like, any build can kind of work. It honestly is a little disappointing when you actually need the right class mod to make a build work, unless you're glitching the game or whatever. But for the most part, this build works for it. I don't want to say even for the most part. This build works for any content that you're going through, and kind of explaining why. When I go through any trials or slaughterhouse, I seriously just run the hive. It's a high DPS rocket, does good splash damage radius. Sadly, it consumes 4 shots, or consumes 4 ammo per shot. But I have seen this thing with all my kill skill stacks and everything. I've seen this hit an armor target for like 975k. It's honestly ridiculous while spamming, probably one of the best hex grenades. There's ice and frost out there, but I just sadly haven't gotten them. So just on top, this just on top of the rocket launcher is just insane with this build. And to make this build even more deadlier, I actually run the improved rerouter shield just to give myself extra max capacity towards the shield. Plus, when fully charged, the next shot drains 50% shield to deal 120% bonus amp damage and return as health. And return as health doesn't affect Moze's heal ability, which is kind of sad, but I mean, it is what it is. It honestly doesn't need any more insane killer bee shield added to her actual build. But this helps with the rocket. I'll shoot out the rocket, rerouter go off, throw out a couple grenades. I'll get my 4 shots that I shot again. I'll shoot the rocket again, and it's just a cycle with these. And obviously, if you guys haven't seen it already, I'll be surprised if you haven't yet, but the class mod, Entrenched Bloodletter, I think, it recently got a shield delay and shield recharge rate, and I think that actually affects your shield. So I think what they were trying to do was, like, when you are fighting a boss that you can't hit grenades with so much, like Grave Ward or Tyrene, that you're not going to be getting your shield back a lot. I think that was kind of their look at it, to kind of, prevent people from getting their shield backs. But I can say even then, like, even with the recurring hex on Tyrene or Graveyard, I'll throw it out and it'll hit them maybe 6 times, sometimes crit, and my shield will be back as I'm shooting them with a crossroads or whatever. So it honestly doesn't matter. And my perks on it are pretty okay. I got the weapon damage and shield capacity, really nice. I'd kind of give the Hyperion weapon fire rate, I'd kind of trade it for like reload speed a little bit. With this build, you don't reload like you would if you add a couple points from Boundless Mag, but even then you're going to be reloading with those perks as well. So I really wouldn't touch it. And then a Deathless just to reserve all health but 1. Honestly, I have seen there's a nice class mod out there, or artifact, that whenever you kill an enemy with corrosive, that element does more damage. So depending on what slaughterhouse you're going through, at least, you can basically get that, and I think it stacks up 5 times and does like 30% damage. So if you want to go that kind of route where you keep throwing out the hex grenades and just killing them with the hive as well, to give yourself an extra, I think 5 times 30. Holy crap, not 5 times 30, 60, 90, 150. I think brain's fried a little bit, guys. I've been trying to post all these videos out before I actually leave for the weekend for my little birthday with the family. But yeah, there is an artifact that also does that, guys, so just kind of watch out for it. The artifact I have now, area effect damage is really nice. Health, just to get my shield more, and obviously radiation damage. really helps with the Hex Grenade and the Hive rocket launcher. Plus my Lyuda when I am fighting Grave Ward or Tyrene, like this thing still does a shit ton of damage even with minus 50% radiation damage, so modifier I should say. But yeah, guys, that is the build currently. Like I said, it works for everything. Give it a try. If you guys did enjoy the video, as always, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you guys have any comments, please leave them down below. If you are trying to get a hold of me, my email's down in the link below too. If you want to, maybe send me a grenade or something, or if you guys saw something in the video that you might want. Obviously, just email me. I'll reach out to you. Sadly, I can only do it on PSN, not on PC. So, yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.